Our topic is vermicomposting. Vermicomposting, and in this content, we will discuss the vermicomposting processes, the types of vermicomposting systems, the products, and how the waste from the solid waste we can prepare the vermicomposting, and what are the effects on the soil, environment, and plants. And its vermicomposting is basically the product of the decomposition processes using various species of worms, using rendwingles, earthworms, white worms, to create a mixture of decomposing vegetable or food waste, bedding material, and vermicast. And this whole process is called as vermicomposting. And the rearing, that is culturing of the worm for this purpose, is called vermiculture, where we can generate more worms. Vermicast is basically the end product of the breakdown of the organic matter by the earthworms. And these castings have shown a reduced level of pollutants in before vermicomposting. Vermicompost, it contains water-soluble nutrients and excellent nutrient, organic fertilizer and soil conditioner. And this organic fertilizer is used in the farming for the large scale for sustainable organic farming. And vermicomposting can also be applied for the treatment of sewage. Various industrial waste can be used for the preparation of the compost by using earthworms. And a variation of the process is vermifiltration, vermidigestion, which is used to remove the organic matter, pathogens, and oxygen demand from wastewater directly from the black water of flush toilet, that is the sewage. So this is basically the nutrient contents of the vermicompost: nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, calcium, magnesium, iron, manganese, zinc, and carbon nitrogen ratio. So these are the prescribed limits. Regular limits are there. Different types of worms are being used for the preparation of this compost. Most common is the Stevia fodita, the redwingle worm. Remaining, they are also used, but this is the most popular in India. And these species, they are commonly found in the organic rich soils throughout the Europe, North America, in living rotting vegetations, compost, and monopiles. They are shallow dwelling and feed compost plant matter in the soil, adapt easily to living on food or plant waste in the confines of the worm bins. Composting, they are also available for the nursery or shops. You can get it from the nursery or where they are preparing the vermicompost. So you can get this culture from there. And these are most common Canadian night crawlers, which are not recommended, and it may go deep into the soil. These are the different waste materials which are being used for the preparation of this compost by using earthworms: animal waste, sewage, vegetable, industrial sludge, agriculture waste, leaf litter, wine shoot, water canth, mushroom residues, paper waste, sewage sludge, coconut husk, kitchen waste, press mud, domestic, and so on. So these are the basic raw materials which are being used for the preparation of the vermicompost. In household, you can also prepare this vermicompost at your home by taking a vessel, add 2-inch bedding material, worms, cast some pieces, put in the bin, and cover with moist cloth. It should not be kept in the sunlight directly. You have to maintain the moisture level and harvest 3 to 4 years. So this is basically at home, but generally there are two methods for the preparation of the vermicompost. One is the pit method, second is the windrows method. The pit method is most commonly used for the small scale production of the vermicompost. Basically what you have to do, you have to prepare is a pit or on the above the ground or below the ground. The dimensions are there. So first layer you have to add a sand soil of 5 to 6 centimeter, which helps to drain excess water from the pit. Second layer, basically you have to add the paddy straw or residues of the crops. In the third layers, you have to add the cow dung, which is 10 to 30 days old, over the paddy straw at a thickness of 20 centimeter. And then this helps in initiating the microbial activity with anogenic bacteria and others. Then the fourth layer is the pre-digestive material, about 50 centimeter. Then thereafter you have to transfer these earthworms at this particular ratio in the organic matter, and you have to maintain the water level. Spray the water on the bed or add gunny bags which maintain the moisture level, and you have to spray it periodically so that there should not be dryness in the pit. This is the another windrows method which is being used for the large scale production of the vermicompost. So basically the organic waste is loaded in the form of beds. So these the dimensions are there. So after loading, the fresh bed should be covered with a jute mat or dry agriculture waste, rice bran, banana leaf, maize residue. So this is the lady is going to be mulching. So this is basically dry agriculture waste, then dung, then mulching. It's covered with that. Thereafter, you have to sprinkle the water as previously the pit method is also to maintain the moisture level. Moisture content it should be checked by forming lumps of organic waste using hand. So you have to grip into the hand. It should not be the water should not drop down. So bed should be mixed thoroughly to prevent it the mixture. So this is how they check the moisture with the conventional method. The first lot of vermicompost is ready after 21 days or 2 months, and lots of can be harvested every 6 months or loading. Watering of the shed should stop at 3 days before when you are taking the compost or you are harvesting. So earthworm go down in the moist and compost is collected from the top. So lower layers of the beds can be recycled. So vermicompost harvested will be of dark brown color and it should be free flow. Harvested compost should be stored in the dark and cold places. You can pack it. Then what are the benefits of this vermicompost? If you during the rainy season, if you see your household soil, the earthworms will come out from the soil. Basically, they help in the aeration. So it enriches the soil with microorganisms. So microalgae, the worms casting 10 to 20 times higher than the soil organic matter than the worms in test. It also attracts deep burrowing earthworms already present in the soil, and it improves the water holding capacity. As far as the plant growth is concerned, it enhances germinations and crop yield. It improves the root growth and structure, and it enriches the soil with microorganisms like hormones, auxins, and jubilant. Economic benefits are also there. That is the bio-waste conversion. This is the waste flow to landfills. Landfill is basically the low-lying areas. Then elimination of the bio-waste from the waste streams reduces contamination of other recyclable collected at a single bin. Then creates low-skill jobs at local levels. Then low capital investment, relatively simple technologies make vermicomposting practical for less developed agriculture regions. Then in the environment, they are also help to close the metabolic gap through recycling waste on the site and use temperature control mechanized harvest. Other equipment is relatively simple and does not wear out quickly, and it reduces the greenhouse gases emissions such as methane, nitric oxide produced in a landfill or instead where they are not composted. The problem of this preparation of the compost, the major disadvantage is the waste segregation required at the site. Yeah. So these are two types of waste are there, dry waste and wet waste. So these should be separated at the site also. So dry waste includes wood and related products, metal and glasses. They should not be there. And the wet waste should be organic waste generated by eating establishments or heavy in weight due to the dampness. So these should be separated at the site only. If this metal glass and metal and glass or wood will come into the compost, then you will not get a good quality of the compost. So maintain the proper environmental condition for worms. Basically, when you are working on the large scale, you have to maintain a moisture level in the compost. What are the precautionary measures? Basically, when you are going for the preparation of this vermicompost, only plant-based materials such as grass, leaf, vegetable peelings should be taken care for the vermicompost. Materials like eggshell, meat, bone, chickens should not be added there. It should be separated at the site. This is a particular plant, Gilceria loppings and tobacco leaves. They are not suitable for this preparation of the earthworms or culturing of the earthworms. The earthworm should be protected against bird, termite, and ants and rats. Adequate moisture, as mentioned, should be maintained in the process. Throughout the process, the vermicompost should be removed from the bed at a regular interval and should be replaced with the fresh material as required. The important terms of this here is vermicomposting, vermiwash or wormery. They are basically interlinked and they join with as a verming technology. Vermicomposting is a technology of composting various forms of this biodegradable waste with the help of the earthworms. And worm cast is the term where these earthworms eat this organic residue and digest and excrete in the form of pellet. That is called the worm pellet. And in nutshell, this vermicomposting is environmentally and economically sound and helps to conserve natural resources. Basically, this is the diagram flow chart where we are using the water source for the preparation of the vermicompost, and vermicompost there is used the fertilizers and biogas production. Whatever the slurry is there, or this can be used as a fertilizer, and that is also enhancing the biogas production. And these fertilizers, when you are adding into the fields, they increase the agriculture yield.